que é isso, véi?
Blocking the road was a group of figures dressed in long brown robes and unsettling white masks. They stood completely motionless and silent, doing nothing but gazing toward the vehicle. Strangely, they had left just enough of a gap for the car to squeeze through, almost as though they had been expecting it. The friends crept forward without a word, fear keeping them all quiet. Once they were through, nobody dared to glance behind them. To this day, the identity of those figures remains a mystery, along with whatever they were up to out there that night.
Passa, Thiago, passa, véi. Passa.
On February 20th, 2025, a mother begins recording her child's balloon after it does something that frightens her deeply. She keeps the camera rolling, hoping it will repeat the behavior while being filmed.
It's doing it again. It stopped.
For whatever reason, the balloon drifts to a sudden stop right beside the basement door. Now you might not see what's so alarming about that at first glance. It looks like a balloon just doing balloon things. But according to Rachel, the mother, this particular balloon consistently ends up at that same basement entrance, and it won't go inside unless her son walks in after it.
Andrew.
Unlike previous incidents where it simply hovered near the doorway, this time it travels all the way through, and it only does so once Rachel's son starts moving toward it. Sure, a draft or some kind of airflow could theoretically explain the movement, but the fact that it reliably stops just a short distance from the cellar, even when the door is left open, is hard to dismiss. Whether the balloon starts upstairs or from the far end of the house, it traces the same route every single time before coming to rest at that same familiar spot. Rachel genuinely cannot explain it.
The basement door again.
And those incidents were far from the last. Just recently, something else was caught on camera, recorded at around 9:30 in the evening.
Babe.
Quiet! Quiet!
It's a creepy deal.
As if things weren't already unsettling enough, this unfolds. The balloon appears to float toward the top of the staircase, heading directly in Rachel's direction without pausing once, until it reaches the top, where it stops dead. Its natural buoyancy just vanishes, as though the usual rules of physics no longer apply to it. It simply hangs there, motionless. Even the family's dogs in the background seem rattled by what they're witnessing. At this point, the family knows something is seriously off with this balloon. They'd love to throw it out, but their son flat out refuses to let that happen. So it stays. They figure it'll lose air on its own within a few days and become a non-issue. But just when they think everything might settle down, something happens that completely changes their outlook. Only a day or two later, Rachel is alone in the house when she encounters what she describes as the most disturbing experience of all. It's late at night when her camera captures this. the staircase, tucked into the corner of the doorframe, Rachel notices something, though at first she isn't sure what she's looking at. Moving in for a closer look, she makes it out. A forehead sloping down to what appears to be a pair of eyes staring back at her. When the footage is slowed down frame by frame, the shape she spotted becomes clearer, and whatever it is has left both Rachel and her husband deeply shaken. Understandably, she was beside herself. If the balloon's behavior hadn't already convinced them that something was wrong with that basement, this moment sealed it. Whatever is down there, person or something else entirely, they can't help but connect it to everything the balloon had been doing. The path it always followed no longer seems like a matter of airflow. It feels like something was guiding it. Rachel has since locked the basement and has no intention of opening it again anytime soon. No clear explanation has emerged, and the mystery is very much alive. Just what was it that Rachel and her family encountered inside their own home? Like so many others, this one remains unsolved. A content creator decided to push his iPhone 11 Pro to its absolute limits by deliberately tossing it into a geothermal spring while it was still recording. The footage was posted to the YouTube channel Tech Racks on April 27, 2020. He was curious about what conditions existed beneath the surface of that boiling water, and whether the device could withstand such a punishing environment. The location where he carried out this experiment is known as Diana's Punch Bowl, sometimes referred to as the Devil's Cauldron. It's a deep, circular pit out in Nevada, filled with an intensely hot geothermal spring. The cavity drops roughly 49 feet down, and the water can climb to temperatures approaching 200 degrees Fahrenheit. On his first attempt, the phone didn't capture anything out of the ordinary, just the hum of the drone overhead. But the second time he threw it in, from a much greater height, things took a very different turn. The device appeared to pick up what sounded unmistakably like screaming, human voices, as if people were desperately crying out in English from somewhere below the surface. The creator himself later pointed out that the audio captured during the experiment was deeply unsettling, resembling the sound of people in distress.
The audio sounded pretty eerie, and I wanted to include kind of the unaltered version here. So I have the clip here. It was 2 minutes and 40 seconds. And I edited, for the actual video, because it's just a lot of talking, and then the drone is flying, and then I'll show you guys the actual drop here. And then right there, you could hear it definitely sounds like some yelling. It's really weird, guys.
The iPhone continued recording those bizarre underwater noises for roughly 10 seconds before it gave out, almost certainly due to the extreme heat of the water. Worth noting, during that very first drop, not a single scream was captured. On July 16, 2022, a TikTok creator named Sarah, who goes by Girl with the Accent online, headed out on what was supposed to be a relaxing camping trip alongside her mother. The plan was simple, lighthearted content for her followers, but the outing quickly took a much more sinister turn.
Fuck. You okay, maybe? Come here. It's okay. I'm fucking scared. It's gonna get dark. It's like literally twilight right now. So, I'm wearing these. I won't be able to run in these. Okay, I don't know whether it's because I'm filming a TikTok, but I'm starting to get really fucking scared.
As she walked her dog through the surrounding woods, an overwhelming feeling of dread began to creep over her. The further she pushed into the trees, the more intense it became. Then it hit. A bone-chilling scream tore through the forest. It started off distant, almost indistinguishable from an animal cry, but there was something deeply wrong about it.
It must be an animal. Oh my god. Finally sounds like it's back there instead of right in front of me.
With every step she took, the sound seemed to match her movement, its pitch and pattern shifting in ways that made no sense. What had begun as intrigue quickly curdled into genuine fear.
me what the fuck that noise is. Now I'm just thinking, like, what if it's a dog that's like caught in like some fucking thing? I don't know whether to go find it.
She tried to rationalize it, maybe a wounded dog somewhere nearby, but the forest fell completely silent, as if something had switched it off on purpose. Then the scream came back, suddenly, much louder this time, and horribly distorted. That was all she needed. Sarah bolted through the trees and didn't stop until she burst out of the woods and collapsed back at camp.
I've come back. I've come back. It's moving around, so like it's now moving around. So like I've walked back because I thought it might be injured, but it's moving around. So it's not in one spot. It's moving and it's... I think it stopped.
Whether it was an injured animal, a lurking predator, or something no one can explain, the answer remains unknown. What is clear is that whatever was out there seemed to track her every single move that night. We have footage that appears to have been captured by a residential security camera belonging to the man visible in the video. There isn't a whole lot of context provided, but it seems like something unfamiliar has unsettled his property in some way. Acting cautiously, he heads outside and begins checking the area. He doesn't find anything during his search, but what his camera picks up tells a different story. Whatever may have triggered the disturbance shows itself, and it's neither human nor any recognizable living thing. It looks like some kind of self-directed mass of mist drifting across his yard. The paranormal community had a pretty swift response when this made the rounds. There's a long-standing association between ghosts and misty formations, and believers will tell you that's exactly what a spirit looks like when it crosses into our visible world. We've covered a ton of ghost footage on this channel over the years, but I'll be honest, this one has me on the fence. I'd love to hear what you think. On what seemed like just another routine day out on the water, a group of Japanese fishermen were left completely speechless by an extraordinary encounter with one of the ocean's most rarely glimpsed giants. Stretching nearly 6 meters long and tipping the scales at roughly 2 tons, the megamouth shark, a species notorious for its deep-sea lifestyle and near-mythical elusiveness, had somehow ended up in their nets. Once brought ashore, the colossal megamouth became an instant spectacle, drawing crowds who couldn't take their eyes off its sheer scale and that unmistakable, cavernous jaw. Word spread quickly, and the sense of wonder among locals was impossible to contain. For most of them, this was a once-in-a-lifetime sight. Our next clip comes from a Saudi man who makes a regular habit of camping solo out in the desert, something entirely unremarkable in that part of the world. Heading out to unwind, cook a meal, and sleep under the open sky far from the city is just a way of life there. But on one particular trip, he captures something that people across the Arabian world say they recognize immediately. While pointing his camera at the dark, empty desert, a strange light shows up in the distance, flickering, hovering, and moving in a way that no vehicle could explain. A drone, maybe? A campfire? According to local tradition, this phenomenon has a name: Abu Fanus, a type of jinn said to manifest as a floating lantern-like glow drifting through the desert. In Islamic and Arabian folklore, jinn are understood to exist alongside humanity, often dwelling in desolate locations, crumbling ruins, and sprawling open wastelands. Abu Fanus, specifically, is considered one of the more dangerous varieties, notorious for deceiving travelers by presenting itself as a distant light, gradually pulling them further from safety.
هو جني يتعمدون
شنو وين ما تتعشى
كبيرة بعدين تعشى
كبيرة كحول وبدون كحول
كبيرة بدون كحول.
ونزل
Then there's a second recording, shot on a completely separate night, where the man is out camping again when the light returns. Only this time, It's not distant. It's close, uncomfortably close. As he keeps filming, the glowing shape appears to be moving toward his campsite rather than lingering on the horizon. The motion is unhurried, purposeful, and consistent, as though whatever is out there has become aware of him. What makes both of these recordings so deeply unsettling is how precisely they mirror descriptions that have been handed down across generations. Long before anyone had a camera to document anything, desert travelers were already telling stories about mysterious lights that would drift, vanish, and sometimes trail behind those who acknowledged them. In many Islamic teachings, the guidance is clear. Do not call out to such lights, do not pursue them, do not engage with them in any way, as responding is believed to open the door to harm or lead a person dangerously astray. Skeptics, of course, have their counter-arguments. Distant fires, atmospheric distortions, or optical tricks amplified by heat and pitch darkness. But those who take the folklore seriously point out that the behavior on display, particularly the way the light seems to react to a human presence, doesn't sit comfortably within any tidy natural explanation. Whether this man stumbled upon some rare atmospheric oddity or brushed up against something woven deep into ancient belief, this footage reaches into a fear that desert cultures have carried for centuries. Out there, miles from any city, with no one around and nothing but silence in every direction. Not everything that glows is something you want getting closer. This chilling video was recorded by Jake, a popular content creator you may already know from his YouTube channel Jake Ghost Hunter. Over the course of more than 2 years, Jake has been bringing his audience along on deep dives into the paranormal, venturing through haunted homes, derelict structures, and piecing together the dark histories lurking inside them. But on this particular evening, things took a turn that rattled not just Jake and his companion, but the responding officers who were later drawn into the situation.
Tonight, the Liberty High School. Never been investigated before.
The night started the way most of Jake's explorations do, with banter and laughter as he and his friend made their way toward a school with a reputation for being haunted. The mood was light, and neither of them had any idea how the evening would unfold. Once they arrived, they pulled up outside and spent some time reading through the location's backstory. The history behind the alleged haunting was unsettling, but having come all this way, they pushed forward, pulses racing with nervous excitement.
Terrifying, man. Let's go to the Liberty School. The third floor, dude. Switch shadow figures are extremely common. If there's anybody here, any spirits, children, teachers, principals, janitors.
The second they crossed the threshold, an overwhelming sense of dread hit them like a wall. It felt as though something, or someone, had already taken notice of their...
What noises you want? Hello? Holy well. Someone just got thrown, dog. Can you walk towards us? Whoa, bat.
Where are you, dude?
Bird.
What the hell was that?
It's a bat, I think.
It is a bat. Oh.
Oh, no, this isn't good.
No, that's not good.
This isn't good. Okay. Oh, crap.
Hey, bat.
Hello?
Hey, mister. It's right there, you see it? Mr. Bat? Mr. Bird? Okay, it's
Oh,
a dove.
It's a dove. Pigeon.
It's a pigeon. We got him. Hey, buddy. Alright, keep exploring, bro.
presence. They tried to brush it off at first, chalking the feeling up to a pigeon they'd accidentally spooked. But somewhere in the back of their minds, they both sensed this was just the start.
Whoa. It's such an eerie feeling. I don't like it. I don't either. Do I keep walking, dude? Yeah, let's just keep walking.
Okay.
What?
I hope that was a bat clear down there, but I 100% saw a black ball just go across the middle of that hallway. Yes, dude.
We should go check it out.
Anyone down here with us? We're here to communicate.
Moving further into the poorly lit corridors with their nerves stretched thin, the atmosphere around them seemed to thicken. They were drawing closer to something neither of them could put into words.
What is that? What is that? Is it right here? Shh, careful. Dude. Dude. Frozen anything. Sounds in the running.
How do you explain like 10 running footsteps?
No. Let's, since we're getting a ton of weird things right here, let's just set up in the middle, put gear all around us, and see what happens. Alright, so now we're sitting on the 3rd floor hallway. The REM pod just went nuts, so now it's time to see exactly what is up here with us right now. Can you go like that, bro? Again?
Yeah, let me take my bag off.
3, 2, 1. Dude, it's a different vibe.
Yeah, it's horrible.
So guys, look at Noah's camera. That is what we're seeing right now. Can you touch that REM pod again, that red light?
Touch one of our pieces of equipment.
Oh. Dude! Bro, what the hell was
I
that?
just saw a ball of light right in front of me.
No way.
Yeah, it was like, it looked like a freaking like a plasma.
Dude, what was that bang?
I don't know, that was loud. I just heard a kid go, hey.
Yeah, it was like... Oh my
God!
Back away if we heard your voice! Was that someone else? Can you touch that again? Dude, right when you heard the kid's voice. What is happening, man?
I don't know. But that was a clear voice.
Yeah, it was like, hey! It was like a, hey! I heard like weird. And then the freaking REM pod...
Deciding they'd seen enough of one section, they turned to make their way toward a different part of the building. They didn't get very far before a sound stopped them dead in their tracks.
You hold these, I'll put it up there. I'll put this up here. So guys, we are going to... Has this been on?
What was that?
What the actual fuck was that? Right, we're in this inbox, dude. Oh my god. Hello?
Oh my god.
Right when we're about to go alone, dude. Wow. Dude, that sounded like one of the walls just crumbled, actually. Or the desk, dude.
The story about the desk.
And guess where all the desks are in the school? They're backstage in that room, dude. All the chairs.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh my. Oh. What is the REM pod doing? I don't know. Who just made that sound? I'm shaking so bad. What if just boom? What if that was the front door being like pushed open because of the stick? Should we go check real quick before we do this? Dude, okay, let's go.
Their anxiety shot through the roof. Was somebody else in there with them? A squatter? Or something far worse? They headed downstairs to collect themselves and strain their ears for any sign of movement, but the silence pressing in around them was just as disturbing. In a bid to take back control of the situation, they made the bold call to separate, and that's precisely when everything fell apart.
Jack! Oh my god!
Was that inside? Yeah. Shh. Get down here now. Now get down here, dude. No, you come with me, bro. That was on my level. Call the cops on my phone now. Call the cops. Call the fucking cops. Call the fucking cops. Just get down. Turn the lights off. That was gunshots. That was gunshots. Just sit down. Turn the light off. I'm at the old Liberty High School. There's shots fired. Please come here quick.
Okay, stay on the line, babe. Are you guys in a safe spot right now, hiding?
Kind of, but not really.
Okay. And what can you necessarily hear?
I just hear them. I heard them mess with the door.
Did you see anything?
No, we just heard the gunshots right outside, and I ran up here, and then we hear them entering. Or it sounds like it.
Okay. Where does it sound like the shots came from?
Outside by on the north side. Yeah, we hear those. Okay, sounds good. I'm gonna put you in the pocket real quick. Okay. Put your hands up. Boy, stick it. Yeah. Thank you all. Yep. We go over here.
You guys armed at all?
No, we have nothing.
Are you the callers?
Yes.
Visibly shaken, the two later sat down and described everything they had witnessed. When law enforcement heard their account, they moved quickly, entering the abandoned school themselves on the assumption that an armed intruder might be concealed inside. What they found, however, was nothing like what they anticipated.
There's something in there.
Are you serious?
For real.
Yeah. Like, what do you mean?
What?
Let me just... For real.
So right there on the second floor,
Yes.
we were looking this way. I heard pitter patter like that along the, what would that be? The east wall. Yeah. And then he hears it at the end of the hallway. And as I'm taking my light down, I see something go like
No
across.
way. Are you guys dead ass?
Swear.
You have
And then
body
we were
cam?
like, no. But we were talking about you guys. We were like, let's just black out for a second. So we went completely black in there. And all of a sudden we heard movement behind us and we just ran. For real.
Shortly after going in, the officers came bursting back out, clearly rattled, their faces drained of color. They maintained that the building was completely vacant, but if nobody was in there, what had frightened them so severely? Whatever those officers encountered left a mark that went far beyond the ghost hunters themselves, shaking trained professionals who had never had any reason to entertain the idea of the paranormal before that night. The question that lingers is whether they all came face to face with something that simply defies explanation. Draw your own conclusions. Sadly, we may never. A man by the name of Aaron found himself thrust into the middle of a terrifying haunting. Day after day, unsettling paranormal encounters became his new normal. He'd be jolted awake by thunderous banging throughout the house, witness objects shifting without any explanation, and carry a constant gnawing sensation that something sinister was hiding in the shadows, keeping its eyes fixed on him. With no understanding of what had triggered any of it, he was completely at a loss for what to do next. Then one night, strange sounds began echoing through the house. Suspecting someone may have broken in, he grabbed his camera and started recording.
It's in my house.
Here's what it picked up. For just a split second, what appears to be two glowing eyes peers out from behind the corner near the door, right before that door slams shut on its own. Acting on advice from his audience, Aaron decided to sage the house, but rather than calming things down, it seemed to stir something up, and the paranormal activity inside escalated dramatically. A few nights later, he was roused from sleep by the sound of a cat meowing at his door. He didn't think much of it at first, but when it happened again the following night, he decided to investigate, and what his camera caught left him shaken to his core. As he sweeps the camera toward the lower floor, a dark shadow figure can be spotted making itself known in the corner of the room. When he reaches the front door, there's no cat to be found, but what he does find are three black hooded figures seated in the grass outside in the dead of night. A few days of continued disturbances later, Aaron stumbles upon something deeply troubling. A putrid odor had begun spreading through his home, and it appeared to be seeping up from the apartment directly below. He went to check his neighbor's window and found it swarming with flies. Fearing the worst, he dialed 911 to get to the bottom of it, and what authorities uncovered was deeply disturbing.
Well, my neighbor hasn't came outside in a while, and I looked at his window and there's a bunch of flies. And my apartment started smelling. I'm like right above him. It started smelling weird. And I walked up there and looked at his window, and there's a bunch of flies, and it kind of smells like dead or like rotten.
emerged that the neighbor had died several weeks prior, which explained the overwhelming smell. What made it even stranger was that not a single person had come to check on him. Police attempted to reach every emergency contact on file and received no response from any of them, suggesting either that this was a man who had no one left in his life or that whatever he had been involved in had driven everyone away. Fellow neighbors told Aaron he had been a hostile, aggressive man who would curse at children and passers-by. In the middle of the night, his front door would stand wide open, nothing but darkness visible beyond the threshold, and if you got close enough, you could hear him hurling insults at someone. Yet he never had a single visitor. Aaron began to suspect the man had been practicing satanic rituals or witchcraft, and that his death had somehow unleashed a dark presence into Aaron's home, as though he had been offered up as a sacrifice to some malevolent entity. That very night, Aaron was jolted awake by the unmistakable sound of something slowly ascending the staircase. The following evening, while sitting down to play video games, he began hearing strange sounds again, so he propped up his camera to record while he played, and instead of catching the noises, he captured something far more unsettling.
What the fuck? Here we go again. Fucking lights. Ooh. see. Just doing it again. I'm not gonna run.
Something drops on him from the floor above, and when he goes up to investigate, he finds no one there. Objects then begin flying across the room by themselves, sending him scrambling back downstairs. That's when he hears what sounds like movement coming from inside the deceased neighbor's unit below, and he attempts to steal a glance through the window.
I swear I could hear somebody down there. I can't see in there.
He can't make anything out from where he's standing. Shortly after, he takes his viewer's advice and attempts a spiritual cleansing using sage.
Once updating a story about what happened. So the bottom stairs neighbor passed away, and it's been pretty weird and paranormal lately. In the comments, I got a lot of people saying to get sage. I got 2 different kinds. I don't know which one to use. All the same. This one has like a twine around it or something. Hopefully the place will be cleansed. Told me to use a sage to bless the house. But first I'm gonna use what y'all said and put the egg in the middle of the room. The egg in the middle. Okay. It keeps going out. Okay, it's good. Okay. If anything is here, you are not welcome. Is it going out? Oh, it's good. You're not welcome here. You have to leave. You're not welcome. I really didn't want to light. You're not welcome here. You have to leave. There we go. Don't show no fear. Just, you're not welcome here. You're not welcome in the corners. The thing is moving. Not welcome here. You have to leave, find your way out. Okay, I think that's enough. I think I'm just getting the spirit mad. Okay, well, we're gonna check the egg. Check this egg. Hopefully I have a bad spirit in here. Fucking something. I'm gonna crack it into this bowl. See what happens. And
Apart from a couple of strange sounds, the session seems uneventful until he cracks the egg and outpours a thick, dark liquid that looks nothing like it should. Aaron described the smell as resembling vomit, a clear sign that this cleansing had failed. Determined to try again, he returns with Dragon's Blood Sage, and this time things go sideways fast.
Dragon Blood Sage to help me get rid of the spirit I have here. But first, I'm going to be placing this egg here in the center of the room. I'll place it right there. Come back. Okay. Here we go. So if there's a demon in here, you are not welcome. You have to leave. You're not welcome. Still smoking. It's barely lit. You know, people don't think that you're real. People actually think that you don't exist, but I want to show them. So show yourself. Don't be scared. Just show yourself. Come out. Okay. Something's definitely showing itself. But it's okay because I got the sage and this. It's barely lit, but it's okay. It's still lit. I'm okay. I'm scared on this corner. Oh, see, here we go. Okay. Actually, I turn on this light. I just want to turn around. But if you're here, you have to leave. Or do something to this egg. Do something to this egg. Move it. Fuck. Okay. Maybe it left out the window or something. Okay, let's go do the egg so I can leave my apartment. Okay. Here's the egg. What's wrong with the egg? See? Just regular egg. First off, let me show you my hand. There's nothing on my hand. Nothing. I want to get out of here. Okay, here you go. And again. I don't know why.
As he makes his way upstairs, the footsteps grow louder and more aggressive, forcing him to retreat. He cracks another egg, and the contents appear even darker than the last one, as though whatever energy is present has only grown stronger. Aaron remains at a complete loss as to what this entity wants or why it has set its sights on him. But one thing is becoming increasingly hard to deny. Something truly malevolent has taken hold of his home. The next clip comes from a man by the name of Tad, a car enthusiast based out of St. Petersburg, Florida. His channel is typically focused on capturing cinematic footage of his C7 Corvette. On the evening of December 21st, 2025, he found himself cruising down an empty access road through a business park that had long since shut down for the night. His goal was simple. He just wanted a quiet, secluded spot to shoot some footage of his car, somewhere far enough from people that he could open up the engine without disturbing anyone. What he ran into that night, though, was something he never could have anticipated. See for yourself.
What the freak was that? Oh my God! What the freak was that?
As he makes his way down the darkened road, he suddenly spots a tall, shadowy figure moving in the direction of his vehicle. He immediately panics and slams down on the gas, tearing away from the scene as quickly as possible. The forward-facing dashcam doesn't pick up a whole lot from the road itself, but the interior camera tells a different story, something deeply unsettling. As the car rushes past, a dark, human-shaped silhouette is visible just outside the window. Tad was clearly rattled by the whole experience, and he has absolutely no plans to go back to that spot to figure out what, or who, was standing there. So where do you stand on this one? What would your reaction have been if you were behind that wheel? Was this a genuine paranormal encounter caught on film? Or is there a more grounded explanation? Drop your thoughts down in the comments below. In October 2022, Chris Hill, the man behind the YouTube channel Urbex Hill, posted a video documenting his exploration of a long-abandoned electrical substation. His channel has earned a following by venturing into some of the creepiest derelict locations throughout the United States. For this particular video, Chris set his sights on the Cedar Avenue substation in Cleveland, Ohio, and what unfolded was nothing short of bone-chilling. Constructed in 1917, the Cedar Avenue substation once served as a critical hub for the Cleveland Railway Company. As the years passed and technology moved on, the facility was shut down in 1948 and left to slowly fall apart. Over time, it became a breeding ground for urban legends. with locals reporting ghostly figures and strange, inexplicable occurrences. Despite the location's dark reputation, Chris chose to go in alone, equipped with infrared cameras and a stubborn desire to find answers. His first visit started out like most of his explorations. The structure was a wreck, crumbling walls, decaying animal carcasses littering the floor. But the moment he headed down into the basement, the energy of the place shifted entirely. What happened next stopped him cold.
Alright, let's head down. Whoa, it's noticeably colder in here. What the hell? If you stand right here, it's kind of warm, like normal temperature. But as soon as you go in here, it gets cold. That is creepy as hell. Whoa, that is weird. Like, I'm not joking, y'all. It's noticeably colder in here. Oh, God. Help me. Alright, let's keep going. I keep thinking I hear somebody talking. I don't know. I wonder what these things are used for. It's like these shells are all connected, it seems like. Yeah. Can't tell though.
As Chris pushed further into the substation, something caught his attention. One particular room was significantly colder than everywhere else in the building. The kind of temperature drop that paranormal investigators frequently associate with spiritual presence. According to ghost hunting experts, cold spots may signal a nearby entity absorbing thermal energy from its environment. Even more unsettling, when Chris peered along a long concrete shelf, his camera picked up something he hadn't noticed in the moment. A pale, shadowy shape drifting along the back wall. Then things escalated when he headed back upstairs, where his infrared camera recorded something that had no rational explanation.
That's just a generator. Hell's door. That's kind of creepy. Damn. Still gotta go down there too. Did you hear that? That was loud. What the hell? What the fuck? What was that? What the fuck was that noise? All of a sudden I feel sick. No, don't do this. Jesus Christ. Come on. Don't do this. I gotta get out of here. Oh my God, I feel horrible.
Seconds later, a thunderous bang rang out through the building. Chris spun toward the sound, just in time to watch a dark figure disappear, only to reappear almost instantly, peering through a doorway on the opposite side of the room. But the most disturbing moment was still coming. Chris was suddenly hit with an overwhelming wave of nausea, violently sick for several minutes, describing the onset as instantaneous and debilitating, leaving him dizzy and barely able to stand. During those same minutes, the figure appeared to be watching him directly before fading away. Paranormal researchers often connect sudden physical illness to the presence of hostile entities, suggesting that malevolent spirits may sap energy not just from their environment, but from the people inside it. Chris's state continued to deteriorate until he had no choice but to abandon the building altogether. It was only when he reviewed his footage afterward that he grasped the full scope of what he'd come face to face with. Even after everything he'd experienced on that first visit, Chris made the decision to return to the Cedar Avenue substation a month later, intent on digging deeper. This time, the warning started the moment he arrived.
Good idea to be back here after what happened last time. I got the same setup, the same IR camera set up. See if I can catch anything else. So I'm back. Wish me luck. I'm just gonna follow the same path as last time. Wish me luck. There's a weird noise in this room. That's creepy.
As he made his way down into the basement and entered one of the rooms, a disembodied voice murmured, "You're not supposed to be here." Then after a brief silence, urged him to run.
There's a weird noise in this room.
Chris hadn't heard it at the time and kept moving. Retracing his earlier route, he once again felt the temperature plummet in the basement, and the sensation of being watched became almost unbearable. Just as he reached the far end of the room, the quiet was torn apart by a deafening impact.
Let's keep going. It's really creepy. Wow. It's still really cold in here. Look, you can see my breath now. Look. Like, that's how you know I'm not lying. It's really creepy in here. As I walk, it sounds like people are talking. I don't know if that's just the sound of my feet echoing or what. It's really creepy. What the hell is that? Oh, shit. Something's up there. I know y'all heard that. That scared the shit out of me. I do have my gun just in case. It might have been.
The violent crash sent Chris sprinting in a panic. When he circled back to find the source, his infrared camera caught the same pale figure from his previous visit cutting through the room. A heavy crate had plummeted from above, landing right where he'd been standing, and there was absolutely no way to account for what had sent it crashing down with that kind of force. As he repositioned his infrared camera to get a better look at what was happening, the encounter reached a terrifying new level.
There's the grate. This big ass box just fell on this grate. Maybe it fell from up there. Oh my god, my heart's racing. You know what? I'm gonna put the IR camera up here. That'd be a good idea. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I got the IR camera set up at the top floor. Look how close those are to falling. That would fuck somebody up. They're just resting against the rafters. That's so dangerous. Oh my god. What the?
Out of nowhere, Chris was slammed to the ground and lay there unconscious for nearly 10 minutes. While he was out, the camera recorded what appeared to be white, luminous particles drifting through the space around him, something that couldn't be explained away. When he finally came to, he grabbed his gear and got out of there as fast as he could. Whatever was haunting that substation had sent a clear message. He wasn't wanted there. Chris Hill's time inside the Cedar Avenue substation stands as one of the most disturbing expeditions his channel has ever produced. From vanishing shadows to a brutal physical assault, nothing he encountered fits neatly into any conventional explanation. Were these the tormented remnants of the substation's history, or something far more sinister lurking in those walls? What's undeniable is that this crumbling building is guarding something, and it may never give up its secrets. Back in 1985, Thatcher's neighbor came to him with some deeply unsettling footage that had been recorded just outside their home in the dead of night. A motion-activated camera mounted at the neighbor's property had been triggered, and when they pulled up the recording the following morning, what they found left them both completely shaken. Right there in the middle of the road, directly in front of the house, a pale, ghostly shape had materialized. This hazy, see-through form bore a striking resemblance to a human figure, moving calmly and deliberately, placing one foot ahead of the other as though it were simply taking a leisurely late-night walk. Thatcher's jaw practically hit the floor, and honestly, you can't blame him. Because what on earth is that thing? A supermarket owner in Argentina found himself stepping into the role of overnight watchman at his own shop. For weeks, something hadn't been sitting right. Each morning when he unlocked the doors, he'd discover products strewn across the floor, as though someone had been inside after closing time. Yet every time he reviewed the security footage, there was nothing. No intruders, no suspicious movement, not a single thing out of place on camera. Even so, the feeling that something was wrong wouldn't go away. His dog seemed to pick up on it too, behaving uneasily, as if something unseen was lurking nearby. Desperate for answers, he chose to spend several nights sleeping in a small back storage room. Then, at around 2 in the morning, the quiet was shattered by an unexpected noise, something resembling an alarm. He grabbed his camera and followed the sound to where it was coming from.
Son las 2:12 de la mañana y se escucha un sonidito, como si fuese un despertador. Yo estoy acá completamente solo, soy el sereno de este supermercado y se escucha algo. ¿Qué es? Allá. Este aparato que se encendió solo. Yo no lo toqué para nada. ¿Y por qué? Ahí dejó de sonar. No, ahí vuelve a sonar otra vez. Está dentro de su paquete.
What he found was an electronic device, still in its original sealed packaging, somehow going off by itself. He was adamant he hadn't laid a finger on it, yet the sound kept going, as though invisible hands had set it in motion. Over the following nights, the disturbances escalated, loud banging, objects crashing down. Certain he was about to catch whoever or whatever was responsible, he rushed toward the noise and discovered more products thrown across the aisle.
Hace un rato terminé de lavar todo este sector, toda esta zona, y escuché algo que se cayó, ruidos por acá. A ver. No sé. ¿Qué pudo haber sido? Se cayeron estas cosas entonces. Un par de... Se mueven algunas. ¿Quién lo habrá tirado? Se siguen moviendo, algunas quedan en movimiento.
But the strange events kept coming. In footage recorded later, the man, now firmly believing he was dealing with a paranormal presence, attempted to address it directly, keeping his voice steady and his composure intact.
Soy el sereno acá de este supermercado y ahora estoy por lavar toda esta zona. Esta sería la zona de huevos, lácteos. Y bueno, acabo de escuchar algo en la fiambrería. Debe ser mi amigo el fantasma. ¿Qué querrá, no? Parece que mi amigo el fantasma se quiere comunicar a través de esas luces. Fantasma, ¿quieres tú algo? ¿Estás aquí? Dime. Ah, bueno. ¿Qué quieres? Hola. Bueno. ¿Me dejas trabajar mejor, fantasma? Por favor. ¿Me dejas? Quiero trabajar tranquilo. Estamos.
Almost immediately, more items were hurled to the ground. A shopping cart rolled forward on its own, as if the entity was acknowledging him, making a point of letting him know it was there. All he could do was plead with whatever spirit it was to leave him alone and let him run his business in peace. As of now, there have been no further updates on the situation. On June 23rd, 2023, a man by the name of Pablo Dostur was out in the woods with his dog Draco. As the two made their way through the trees, they came across an unusual structure standing completely alone, far from anything else. Intrigued, Pablo decided to move in closer and investigate. See for yourself what unfolded. As they drew nearer,
Wow, pequeña espina. ¿Qué hay, Draco? ¿Qué hay acá? Ah, bueno. Tenemos una escalera. Sí, definitivamente se nota que era. Bueno, es muy baja la entrada. Wow. Draco, vení. Bueno, definitivamente no quiere entrar. Es por algo. Vení, Draco. Realmente me siento como bastante acelerado el pulso. Hay una energía definitivamente fuerte. Draco, vení, él me sigue todo. Vení, entra. Eso. No. No. Bueno, me voy acá. Me voy acá porque no.
Pablo was hit with an unsettling feeling he couldn't quite put into words. Something about that building just didn't sit right with him. He described it as an old, long abandoned church. Even though he's no stranger to venturing into eerie locations, this particular place left him genuinely uneasy. Draco wasn't having it either. The dog seemed on edge and flat out refused to step inside. Several days later, Pablo made his way back to the same spot after dark, again with Draco by his side, but the dog's reaction was no different. He barked, pulled back, and carried on as though he could sense something threatening lurking nearby.
Un poco nervioso, debería decirlo. Vení, Draco, vení. Draco, por fin subió. Vení. ¿Qué pasa? ¿Por qué no querés estar acá? Vení. ¿Qué hay? Draco. Draco. Vení.
Given everything that happened, Pablo is convinced that the deserted church is either haunted or concealing something deeply unsettling within its walls. A Brazilian TikTok creator named Natalia Costa runs an account you've probably never connected to anything spooky. Browse through her profile, and you'll come up empty searching for ghost stories or paranormal content. Every video she posts is dedicated to lighthearted vlogs and casual day-to-day moments. There is, however, one single upload from 2022 that stands apart from everything else on her page in the most unsettling way. In the footage, she's just relaxing in her living room, pointing the camera at herself and singing along to a song. But whatever else occupies that house apparently had no interest in being her audience. See for yourself what unfolded.
Meu Deus, meu Senhor, me ajuda.
Natalia is locked in on the lens, singing without a care in the world. Then, just over her shoulder, the window curtain begins to stir. It starts as a barely noticeable shift in the fabric, but moments later the whole curtain lurches forward with force, as though an invisible pair of hands has shoved it hard from behind. She catches the movement out of the corner of her eye but pushes through and keeps filming. That bravery doesn't last long, because seconds afterward, the curtain explodes outward in one massive, violent surge, sending her screaming straight out of the room. And here's the detail that makes it all so chilling. Before any of this chaos breaks loose, the curtain is lying completely flat against the wall, making it crystal clear that absolutely nothing is concealed behind it. So what do you make of that? In July 2018, a family living in Central Oregon encountered something on their land that had shown up on multiple prior occasions. They'd even watched it attempt to grab a deer once. As the creature began moving in their direction, they called everyone inside and kept their eyes on it as it closed the gap. It dipped behind some brush, then emerged again, and it was clear this thing was enormous and moving on two legs.
I'm not kidding. That thing's, we've seen it multiple times.
Oh my God. It's coming over here. It's coming. It's coming over here.
Go inside.
Oh my God. Oh, it went down again. Oh my God, what is that?
Oh my God.
Can someone get the flashlight? Go get the flashlight, Eric. Holy f***. What the f*** is that?
Nobody, everybody's inside. Where's
It's behind the bush again.
Behind the ridge.
That's gotta be what that sound is.
What?
One person floated the idea that somebody might be messing with them, but the others were adamant. Nobody out there was pulling a prank, especially as the figure drew nearer than it ever had.
Hey!
Oh, that's
Someone's messing with us now. No, it's a person. They're messing with us.
No, dude, this isn't a game.
No one's messing. Flashlight on. Eric, turn the flashlight on.
If anything, Eric's playing this joke. I know.
Well, it's getting down again.
And look, they could plainly see it was covered in fur. This wasn't some guy in a ghillie suit. They'd even gone and checked on their neighbor Tom's place repeatedly after earlier sightings, just to rule out anyone setting them up. The figure continued its approach, dropping low, then rising back up while the family tracked it through the dark.
It could be easily just someone messing around in a ghillie suit.
No one. No one's here.
Something over there's making noise.
Is it your neighbor?
check this house after every time. Matt, how many times do we check Tom's house? Tom's? Yeah. How many times do we check?
He was here before. I forgot about that video.
My heart is pounding right now.
Yeah, that's a person. It's a pretty good steward.
What made it all the more unsettling was that this towering, hair-covered thing kept coming back night after night, each visit a little more brazen, a little closer to their front door. This next unsettling clip has been making the rounds online lately, and it's not hard to see why. The footage was recorded by a family visiting Tokyo Disneyland and was later posted to a Japanese paranormal channel called Fourth Wall. The family spent most of the video enjoying a normal day at the park, but things take a turn when they board a river cruise attraction, a ride that, according to local legend, is haunted by the spirit of a young girl who drowned after falling into the water. Right as the boat begins to pull away, their camera catches something completely by accident. Did you catch that? Along the rear of the boat, what appears to be a small hand, roughly the size of a child's, rises into frame, grips the edge of the vessel, and then slowly disappears beneath the surface. So who does it belong to? Viewers commenting on the video are convinced it's a ghostly apparition, and many specifically believe it to be the spirit of the girl who lost her life on that very same ride years earlier. So what do you think? Paranormal encounter or something else? Drop your verdict below. A woman living alone with only her dog and cats captured the following footage. She describes feeling the presence of something else sharing her home, an unseen force that keeps her in a constant state of dread.
В зеркале было отражение чего-то не очень непонятного на видео.
She claims this entity tends to manifest in one particular spot within the room. Determined to document it on camera, she set out to prove what she'd been experiencing, especially after her own family dismissed her concerns and chalked it up to her age.
Уходи отсюда. Я тебя не боюсь. Уходи отсюда. Уходи из моего дома. Уходи. Я тебя не боюсь. Уходи отсюда. Уходи отсюда. Я тебя не боюсь. Уходи. Уходи, я сказала. Уходи отсюда. Уходи. Я тебя не боюсь.
A decorative ornament hanging beneath the lamp begins swinging upward on its own, as though something invisible had given it a push. And that wasn't the end of it. On a separate night, she reported encountering the entity once more, this time near the fireplace, and immediately grabbed her camera to capture what unfolded. Without warning, something resembling a human head seemed to materialize there. The woman recoiled in terror, but quickly stepped back closer, only to find the fireplace completely empty. Whatever she had witnessed had disappeared without leaving a single trace, and that's the moment the recording cuts out. Sadly, this turned out to be the final video she ever uploaded. What became of her after that evening remains a complete mystery, which leaves us with one lingering question. What do you think was actually sharing that house with her? A woman on TikTok was making her way back home at twilight when she filmed something deeply disturbing taking place inside the house next door. She says the sight was so bizarre that it sent a chill straight through her, and that's what prompted her to pull out her phone.
Going for a walk and I look up and I see my neighbors.
The first thing you notice are the lights pulsing erratically inside the home. but what unfolds after that is far more chilling. A group of people are seated together around a table, and in one sudden moment, every single one of them rotates to face the camera at precisely the same instant, as though they were fully aware they were being observed. The motion is unnervingly coordinated, too deliberate to pass off as coincidence. The blank stare they all share is enough to make your skin crawl. Down in the comments, viewers couldn't agree. Was there something genuinely sinister going on? Or is the most unsettling element simply the inexplicably strange conduct of the people inside? Our first clip comes from a TikTok account called US44Life. The person who posted it explained that she was home by herself when she stumbled upon something deeply unsettling inside her attic. Right from the beginning, she gives viewers a sense of just how tight and confined the space actually is. As she looks around, she draws attention to something that's already a little eerie on its own. A small toy car sitting on top of her dresser. According to her, she originally found it tucked away inside a hollow section of the wall, which immediately sets off some alarm bells. Strange as that already is, things get significantly more disturbing right around the 1-minute mark.
In this hole. I covered it back up because it was a little scary, but it's full of bees.
Without any warning, a human head suddenly emerges from within that hollow wall space. It's only there for a moment or two, but that's more than enough time to register what you're seeing. Almost instantly, the woman seems to sense that something is off, whispering, "What was that?" And then the footage ends. In a follow-up video she uploaded shortly after, she walks through the rest of the house to show there are no other gaps or openings in the ceiling anywhere, apart from the single entry point into the attic. Watching a head appear out of a wall is the kind of thing that burrows under your skin in a way that's difficult to put into words. A number of people think this could be an actual person concealed somewhere within the structure of the home, potentially observing her from above. The thought that someone could be crouched just out of view is genuinely chilling on its own. Other viewers suspect the whole thing may have been set up for views. Even so, the timing and the atmosphere make it deeply unsettling regardless. Whether it's real or not, the idea that someone, or something, could be hidden inside your walls is enough to shatter any feeling of security you once had. I wouldn't be getting a wink of sleep in that house.